A Brand Plucked from the Fire, an autobiographical sketch by Mrs. Julia Foote. Julia Foote was born in 1823 in Schenectady, New York. She was the daughter of a former slaves who purchased their freedom and espoused a strong belief in Christianity. From her parents, Julia learned important lessons about the fruits of slavery in Methodism, which helped her prepare to preach a social gospel. Barred from sending their daughter to Schenectady's segregated schools, Julia Foote's parents were obliged to put her to service in a white household whose influence could create an opportunity for her to attend a country school outside the city. For 2 years, between the ages of 10 and 12, the black servant girl studied diligently, applying herself especially to the reading of the Bible. When she was 12, Julia returned to her parents' home, where she cared for her 4 younger siblings while her mother worked. At the age of 18, Julia married George Foote, a sailor, and went with them to Boston, where she joined the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church and began to proclaim the wonders of sanctification to others in the church. Her husband objected to her activities and threatened to send her back to her parents if she did not desist. Julia Foote met with several like-minded women in Philadelphia and after hiring a hall, held a series of religious meetings over which she presided. She recovered the use of her throat around 1869 and returned to preaching in the state of Ohio as a part of a more general holiness revival that swept the Midwest in the early 1870s. Julia Foote's activities during the next 25 years are unknown. On May 20, 1894, she became the first woman in the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church to be ordained a deacon. A Brand Plucked from Fire is the powerful spiritual autobiography of Julia J. Foote, an African-American woman who emerged as a groundbreaking figure in the 19th century religious life. First published in 1879, the book chronicles the life from childhood through her calling to preach, tracing a path marked by deep faith, personal trials, and relentless commitment to her spiritual mission. Foote's autobiography is framed by her belief that she was divinely called to preach. She recounts a powerful vision in which she received a message from Christ and was instructed to carry it forth, despite her feelings of inadequacy and fear. This autobiography is more than just a memoir. It is a bold testimony of perseverance, divine purpose, and the unshakable belief in a God who calls the overlooked and the oppressed to lead. In this autobiography, Julia found in her book an impetus to lives of religious social activism. She knew the obstacles she could face as a woman putting themselves forward in the arena where it was considered inappropriate. This autobiographical work provides us with rare and valuable insights into the internal odysseys this woman, Mrs. Foote, underwent of public ministries. God struggled with her, and she with him, by ways of visions, dreams, and mystical experiences before she bowed to the inevitability of his call to her. Once convinced of her destiny, she was able to defend herself against hostility and censure with appeals to biblical and historical feminist precedent. By defining herself as instruments of God's purposes and by attributing her presence in the public sphere due to mysterious workings of providence through them, she launched herself into all but endless rounds of grueling travel and preaching, from tense and dangerous journeys to slaveholding estates in the southern United States to transatlantic trips to proselytize the unsaved. Julia Foote, together with Jorena Lee and Silva Law, were all pioneers as women, as writers, and as preachers. This edition is contained in the book Sisters of the Spirit and helps to leave a significant element of Black intellectual history from generations of obscurity and neglect, and makes available once again the vivid and persistent voices of 3 Black women who wrote about their lives for the edition of the contemporaries and the enlightenment of future generations. Thanks for watching.